round 2. I still have this on my head because it's too comfy and I'm gonna have hat hair and I don't want to deal with that. So yeah, I'm super pumped. We have Patrick, whose last name he just told me how to pronounce and I completely forgot it already, and Vishy, whose last name he also told me how to pronounce, and I just decided to choose the 2 people whose last names I can't pronounce today, but Vishy's already locked in on that team with that Kartada, Palkia, Whimsicott, Salazzle, Kyogre, and Tabulele. But you never thought you'd hear me say that today, huh? And Patrick on your right with that Venusaur, Groudon, Xerneas, Incineroar, Talonflame, and Tapu Koko. So actually, first Xerneas of the day, guys. Let's see how many more we'll have. We still got 3 rounds left after this. But 2 Tapus now. The other 2 Tapus that I used. Sorry, Tapu Bulu, it's still not your time. Maybe Ultra Series, who knows? But Tapu Koko and Tapu Lele, kind of very good hitters. And Tapu Lele and Kyogre, especially on Vishy's side, really nice combination to have. You know, especially if you've got a Choice Scarf Kyogre, you can do damage from the get-go. Don't have to worry about fake outs. Kind of a terrifying combination. And Palkia, you know, potentially having that Waterium Z, which is honestly one of the only sets that I've seen people run, is going to be kind of scary also in the rain, but Patrick can kind of circumvent that with Groudon and with that Venusaur. Also has his own priority Z move with that Talonflame, and actually Vishy also has the Whimsicott, and now that Z moves are back, could also have that priority Z move. But Prankster and Tailwind potentially has Prankster ability and just kind of ways to stop Patrick if he needs to. So we'll see exactly how these teams match up here in round 2, game 1. And hope you guys are all staying cool. Hope if you haven't registered for Collinsville yet, go do that. Please. I think we're sitting at a little bit under 40 players right now for Collinsville. So please go register for that, guys. Xerneas and Tapu Koko as the lead of choice here from Patrick. You've got that electric terrain coming up here. And we are going to have the Tapu Lele and Whimsicott from Vishy's. So bringing in a fairy party here, as Electric Surge is going to go up for now, but going to be overwritten by that Tapu Lele later on. So Xerneas is going to be faster than that Tapu Lele on the field, but Vishy still having the advantage here with that Prankster Whimsicott, so has the ability to, you know, go for a taunt onto the Xerneas if it chooses to, has the ability to set up Tailwind. So really, Vishy kind of holds the ball in this court here. Whimsicott, kind of an interesting Pokemon to have in this format. We did see certain people using it from before for priority Z moves. Having that Z nature power is always really nice. You know, one of like the downsides to like that Prankster ability not being able to work on dark types, however, not really having to worry about that on Patrick's side. And Vishy's kind of just free to go for ways to just kind of stop Patrick here, as we do have a Moonblast from that Whimsicott going into that Xerneas. Does some pretty good damage, gets the special attack drop from the get-go here as Brave. Okay, I didn't think I would say that sentence today. Braver Tapu Koko. Going into that Whimsicott. Ooh, it does activate the Focus Sash, so no Z move from this Whimsicott ever, but a lot of damage now on that recoil damage here. And Xerneas going for the Dazzling Gleam is going to knock out that Whimsicott, so managed to have a special attack drop, but you know, does go down for its efforts here. Psyshock goes into that Xerneas and is actually going to pick up the knockout as well. So Vishy may have lost the Whimsicott, but managed to take down that Xerneas, which, you know, if you can take down the Xerneas from the get-go, that's going to put you in a really good position. And Patrick, I think, is going to have to consider, because his other big sort of heavy attacker is going to be a Groudon, but if Vishy has that Kyogre in the back, he's going to have to worry about that in a little bit. But Palkia going to grace us with its presence on the field here, that Waterium Z potential again, as Venusaur is going to be able to threaten a lot of damage onto both of these Pokemon here. It's going to be able to pressure damage onto both of Vishy's side. Get it, guys? So, you know, doesn't have access to the chlorophyll ability quite yet, but also has to worry now about that Tapu Lele, because if that Tapu Lele is faster, then you've got sort of you've got to worry about the fact that you can take down your Venusaur on psychic terrain. However, Tapu Koko is still a very scary Pokemon. You've got the ability to have that Gigabolt Havoc, or even sort of potentially like just Thunderbolt into the Palkia, but Tapu Lele is like, you know what, I'm kind of worried about this, so let's just protect this turn. As Tapu Koko goes down, oh, that is a lot of damage with that U-turn into that Palkia. So Patrick's going to be able to kind of pivot here now, going to figure out what he's going to do against this Tapu Lele and this Palkia here. We do finally see that Groudon, so we're going to bring in the Sun, and is going to be able to activate that Chlorophyll ability for Venusaur for that next turn. Interesting that Patrick actually chose not to protect on this turn. Ooh, that Waterium Z now from Vishy is going to be a little bit negated by that Sun, but if he manages to get the Groudon on the switch, and it's going to be huge for him because he'll be able to kind of attack down into Patrick's Groudon that next turn. So Hydro Vortex, looking forward to seeing that a lot more often. Ooh, does go into the Groudon. That Sun switch in is kind of nice, but it's going to really hurt its Groudon, and it's going to barely miss the knockout here. And no berry actually from that Groudon, so Groudon potentially either carrying some sort of choice item, maybe a Z Crystal, but Venusaur goes for the Sludge Bomb into the protected Tapu Lele spot. Patrick's in a very still kind of precarious position, but is able to at least have that that Chlorophyll up for Venusaur. However, Vishy still kind of could have that Kyogre in the back and bring in the rain here, which is kind of letting up right now here in SoCal. But Groudon says, bye, I'm gonna bring back in Tapu Koko, gonna rewrite that trade and give us back that electric terrain. So Tapu Lele's Psychic type move is gonna be a little bit less powerful, but Venusaur going for the Sludge Bomb, so it's gonna be faster than the Tapu Lele, and it's gonna be able to pick up the knockout on it, and is gonna be able to at least keep that Tapu Lele from being kind of a scary Pokemon. Spatial Red from Palkia gonna connect in to that Venusaur. Is a Dragon type move, does a lot of damage into that Venusaur. If that Venusaur was holding a Focus Sash, it's definitely broken now. But Kyogre are going to come in, so as expected, Vishy's last Pokemon is going to be a Weather Setter as well, and Patrick is going to be threatening a lot of damage onto that Kyogre with that Tapu Koko. But if Tapu Koko, even if Patrick can kind of double down into that Tapu Koko, he also does have to worry about like that Palkia. So Patrick does have has the dominant weather for later on. However, if he's going to be slower than most of Vishy's Pokemon, he's got to be very careful about that, especially if Vishy is carrying a Choice Scarf. However, Groudon coming back in, so Patrick's setting again that Sun, so going to sort of negate as much damage as possible from Vishy's Pokemon here. If we've got Volt Switch from that Tapu Koko, we got a Wild Charge instead actually. So Wild Charge from Tapu Koko picks up a knockout so easily on that Kyogre, is going to take some recall damage, but takes care of that Pokemon there. As Hydro Pump from Palkia does hit in the Sun and does very little damage into that Tapu Koko. So actually, it's a very dominant game here from Patrick. I actually thought he was a little bit on the outs after he lost that Xerneas, but this Palkia against both of Patrick's Pokemon, or three of Patrick's Pokemon, is going to be able to do much, especially with a Venusaur in the back. Is going to have access to Chlorophyll again. Could go for Grass type moves, and we do see a forfeit here from Vishy. So very clean game one. Here, so Patrick taking game one, and Vishy gonna have to consider what he's gonna do now for game two. I think that Whimsicott holding on, getting the special attack drop on Xerneas was really nice, and doubling down into Xerneas was nice. I think if you're gonna bring in Whimsicott again, you're gonna want to try to go for something maybe a little bit different here. That Tapu Koko though on Patrick's side was kind of terrifying to sort of deal with. The Wild Charge and that U-turn was able to do a lot onto Vishy's side, that able to take out that Kyogre just from the get-go. And actually no Z-move needed from Patrick at all, as Vishy had revealed that Waterium Z. So Patrick still has a couple of secrets up his sleeve here. Was able to kind of win this without that Priority Z. So Patrick, yeah. So it'd be kind of fun to see that Salazzle as well, because Salazzle is kind of a scary fast Pokemon, is able to kind of hit that Groudon if it needs to, could go for that Tapu Koko as well, go for the Sludge Bomb onto that sort of side of the field, also has Fire type moves that can deal with that Venusaur, so I'm actually kind of hoping for a little bit of a change here from Vishy's side. I'm actually just really hoping to see Salazzle, because I want to talk about Salazzle a lot more, because I think it's a really cool Pokemon, and it's kind of niche and kind of fun to see be used super well. I know that he's kind of been slowly spreading it around SoCal, because I know a couple other people who are choosing to run Salazzle. But Talonflame and Xerneas is going to be the leader choice now from Patrick, as Tapu Lele and Whimsicott once again from Vishy's side of the field. So we do have a priority flying type moves on Patrick's side with those Gale Wings, and that Whimsicott has a priority with Prankster, so don't have to worry about possibly I mean, you're not really going to go for Fire Break because you don't want to lose the Gale Wings, and most Talonflame I think are going to be flying MC, so something like that is something you really have to consider. But protect from that Xerneas, doesn't want to take another Moonblast from that Whimsicott like he did in game 1. As Taunt actually goes into that Talonflame, so going to stop any Tailwind from later on. Ooh, and stops that Tailwind from turn 1, and Tapu Lele going for the Slash Shock into protected Xerneas. But Vishy getting the upper hand pretty quickly there, going to stop that Talonflame. Could actually go for Taunt next turn as well into that Xerneas and stop it from setting up with Geomancy. So Vishy's still kind of in the driver's seat here, and was able to kind of understand, hey, yeah, you know, you're going to protect your Xerneas this turn, so let's go for the Talonflame instead, and kind of seeing that more as a threat here. But Vishy going to set up his own Tailwind now, in his own way of taunting that Talonflame, who can't do it. But Psychic Terrain, that is definitely something that both Patrick and I forgot existed. Psychic Terrain stops priority moves like Brave Bird, which is going to be a priority from that Gale Wings ability. So don't forget, guys, those abilities also now count too, because I definitely also forgot. Sorry, Patrick. Thanks for reminding me. Sorry, it wasn't the cost of your Brave Bird. Xerneas able to set up though, and does take a Side Shock for all its troubles on terrain. It's taking a lot of damage and still no Tailwind from there. So Xerneas is actually in a really bad spot here, and Vishy's just kind of like, you know, this is why I brought Psychic Terrain, because Talonflame has been very annoying, and Tapu Koko's Brave Bird obviously hit because it's not priority, but that Gale Wings, again, for anybody who might not know, he has priority to flying type moves. And Psychic Terrain stops priority moves, so things like Sucker Punch and Brave Bird, in terms of Gale Wings, do not work, and neither does Fake Out, which is what you usually use Psychic Terrain for. So I think Patrick was given a very harsh reminder about that, and wasn't really able to use Talonflame to do that. So I think now he's going to think twice about using that Flying Z as well. But Moonblast goes into that Xerneas, and that special defense is very nice. Does manage to get into red, but Xerneas is able to at least attack this turn, and almost, but not quite, gets the knockout on Tapu Lele, which is going to be really rough, as now Tapu Lele is able for the Side Shock, break that Gale Wings ability on that Talonflame, and actually almost pick up the knockout. But Flare Blitz from Talonflame is going to pick up the knockout on itself. Does go after that Whimsicott, so wants to stop it from later on. So we'll be saying bye to Whimsicott here, as actually Talonflame takes out 1 HP of recoil and is able to potentially set up Tailwind for that next turn. So that taunt wears off at a fantastic time for Patrick here. However, Tailwind being a flying type move, it is going to be the problem for him that he won't be able to set it up because of the fact that Gale Wings has been broken. And now we've got the Salazzle on the field. Salazzle is in a great spot here, is able to just kind of be like, let's go for attacks because it's in fantastic health. It has Tailwind behind it. And both Xerneas and Talonflame are both in the red, and Tapu Lele is still just gonna be like, yeah, you're potentially faster, but let's go after this. Xerneas is just like, nah, I don't want to risk this, so we're gonna protect it on this turn. So Patrick is gonna try to keep that from being safe. A Sludge Bomb from that Salazzle goes into Xerneas, and Tapu Lele is just free to take down this Talonflame. So Patrick loses the Talonflame, but he's able to at least bring in a Pokemon here that he can try to use to deal with both Tapu Lele and Salazzle. That Salazzle at full health might be a little bit of a problem for Patrick. And if you can maneuver around that and try to protect his Xerneas, even without that Tailwind, Groudon is a great way to do that. So Groudon is going to come in, bring in the Sun as well. So if Salazzle's carrying something like a Fire type move, it will definitely be boosted by this, but Vishy also could possibly have that Kyogre in the back. And again, the Weather Horse is a little bit more important for Kyogre, especially because you want to try to get the most damage you can from any sort of Water Spouts or Origin Pulses. And because Groudon doesn't, the only thing that Groudon really benefits from in terms of Sun is getting Fire Punches. It doesn't really rely on Fire type moves as much as Kyogre does on Ice. That double protect here from that Xerneas is definitely not happening. A Sludge Bomb is going to be able to take it down on this turn. So Xerneas, even after having set up, says goodbye to us all once more. Showing the Life Orb though here, as Precipice Blades doesn't connect with Tapu Lele as it's behind Protect, and actually connects with that Salazzle, and is that full attack power, and is going to easily pick up the knockout there on that Salazzle. So, you know, you traded your Xerneas for the Salazzle, but at least that Salazzle is no longer as much of a threat as it was before. And now that Tapu Lele's Psychic Terrain is out, you know, Vishy is going to be stuck here, won't be able to reset that terrain, which means Patrick can bring in that Tapu Koko. And much like in game 1, though, we could just, actually, sorry, it's a Venusaur, my bad. So Venusaur actually still has a really good spot because you've got, oof, okay, so your Rain is a dominant weather, Venusaur doesn't have Chlorophyll, Tapu Lele can still possibly go, actually, it's slower than Venusaur. I think it was slower than Venusaur outside of Sun last time too, so it does have to worry about that Sludge Bomb. Kyogre also has to worry about any sort of attack moves as well because, let's see, one Grass Knot could definitely take it out, but Venusaur goes for Protect instead on this turn, so not going to risk that at all, as Psyshock from that Tapu Lele going to go into that Venusaur spot, and Water Spout from Kyogre is going to easily knock out this Groudon, which was already at it's kind of low health. Sorry, at full health, but it's going to knock it out easily because of the fact that you're at full health and you're in rain. This Venusaur is going to have to take single target Water Spouts potentially, and that's just not a fun time for Venusaur, especially if you're going to get doubled down by that Tapu Lele as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another forfeit here because Venusaur benefits the most from the sun. Yep, so another forfeit in game 2, this time forfeited by Patrick, so giving Vishy game 2, and we're going to go to game 3. Man, isn't Weather Wars fun, guys? Wow. Yeah. But Brandon's just watching me from behind and he's just like, oh, okay, so that just happened. Yep.
Scouting.
Wow.
Hey man.
At least he's admitting it out loud.
Hey man, don't say you didn't do it.
I didn't. I wouldn't, because I'm mostly doing commentary.
I'm just saying. I'm sure someone says, hey, he's a Terrakion.
You have a Terrakion? What? Anyway, Vishy with Kartana, Palkia, Whimsicott, Salazzle, Kyogre, and Tapu Lele. That bottom 4 actually really benefited him a lot here. Whimsicott still, the taunt and the Moonblast was really nice to kind of see. Tapu Lele's Psychic Terrain super beneficial. I think now that Patrick's aware that Gale Wings is stopped by Psychic Terrain, he's going to be a lot more mindful of that. So interesting enough that he didn't bring in that Incineroar. He brought he brought that Groudon, Kyogre, Xerneas, and Talonflame. So Talonflame in place of Tapu Koko, and I think now it's a matter of trying to figure out which one benefits him more in this matchup. That Tapu Koko we saw did so much damage to that Kyogre, and if you know your Tapu Koko is faster than Salazzle, then you can try your best to kind of take it down, because I think relying on something like Press's Face to hit every time to knock out a Salazzle is really scary when you have such high potential for those misses. So the 4 that Patrick brings, I think, is going to be a little more important than the 4 that Vishy brings, because Vishy has had a very solid core of Pokemon to bring here. He did leave behind that Palkia from before in place of Salazzle, which actually could have benefited him, excuse me, just a little bit, but Talonflame and Xerneas once more, and now we have the Whimsicott and the Salazzle as the lead. So now Patrick has to consider, he has to be careful because Vishy could switch in that Tapu Lele at any point and stop Gale Wings from happening. However, Whimsicott can still go for a taunt on either Pokemon, so it's a matter of do you stop the Geomancy or do you stop the Tailwind, and then do you have to protect yourself from that Salazzle, because that Sludge Bomb is just going to do so much damage, especially boosted by a Life Orb into that Xerneas. So Vishy just kind of coming out of the gate strong with that lead, and Patrick, was like, hey, I know you brought in Tapu Lele last game, but I still really like this Talonflame, and I think we could get a lot of boosts out of it. So just gonna have to be really careful here. Because I think Vishy has a lot more options to sort of pivot around than Patrick does. His game plan right now is kind of relying on setting up that Xerneas, because in most cases, when you set up Xerneas, you kind of win. But Patrick's like, well, we're not going to risk that today, and brings in the Venusaur in place of that Xerneas. But Tailwind from Vishy's Whimsicott is going to make sure he gets that speed advantage here, unless we get the matching Tailwind. Ooh, no matching Tailwind so far. We've got the Sludge Bomb into that Venusaur, does so much damage, and gets that poison. That corrosion ability was my favorite thing about Salazzle. Flare Blitz from Talonflame is going to break the Gale Wings ability on Talonflame. Wanted to stop that that Whimsicott from later, but Focus Sash is such a nice item to have in Pokemon like this that can set up, and Patrick is doing it at the cost of his own ability here. Venusaur, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, it would be so unfortunate if that Venusaur got poison on the switch, and lo and behold, guys, Corrosion, such a fun ability. I'm really sorry, Patrick, but I'm kind of glad to see it happen, because I think it's a fun ability to see in play. It just kind of shows that, maybe Salazzle can be sort of a threat on the right team, and it was a very good play for Patrick to bring in that Venusaur here. It did still take a lot of damage from the switch in, but that poison is just going to be a little bit rougher for it in the long run, and Venusaur, just such a good Pokemon to have, especially against fairy types, is just sort of dead weight at this point for Patrick's side of the field, and I think he's going to have to realize that, and I would just let it go down on these turns. But Moonblast from that Whimsicott is going to go into the Talonflame. and gets it down to about half health. Now we're gonna the Sludge Bomb here, and just boosted by that Life Orb is gonna be able to pick up the knockout very easily on Talonflame. So Patrick gonna lose that Pokemon here as well. But Sludge Bomb now from Venusaur gonna go into that Whimsicott, picks up the knockout very easily because you know it was at 1 HP, and just, you know, getting that Sludge Bomb, I think honestly for Vishy, you're just like, I can leave that Venusaur alone because it's going to get knocked down no matter what. The biggest thing here now is Vishy and Patrick have both probably brought their Groudon and Kyogre, and it's just, yep, there's that Kyogre, and with the Tailwind behind it, it's going to be the fastest Pokemon on the field here, unless that Venusaur is going to be extremely fast. Okay, you're going to be the faster Pokemon as of right now, so it's going to bring in that drizzle, but now that Groudon's on the field, we're going to get the sun back. Groudon, please bring the sun here to Southern California as well. I would love that. Thanks. That'd be so great. Can you guys tell I just don't like the rain? Yeah. So at least Venusaur has access to the Chlorophyll ability. But Tailwind is still up on Vishy's side of the field, and that Salazzle is just absolutely scary. If Patrick can somehow get this Groudon to hit it with a Precipice Blades, he might actually win here. But goes for a Protect instead, so we're going to reveal that that move here now as Flamethrower from Salazzle goes into the Groudon actually. So Kyogre going for the Water Spout isn't going to pick up the isn't going to do any damage to the Groudon because it's behind Protect, but does pick up the knockout very easily on Venusaur. And I think now it's just, you know, Xerneas can come out on the field again, but it has to watch out for that Sludge Bomb. And this is going to be one of those things where, because of the fact that Vishy has Water Spout in Sun as well, if Patrick can manage to get damage into both of Vishy's Pokemon and manage to set up that Xerneas at some point, he might still be in a way to win this, right? So Vishy's main priority now is making sure his Kyogre is safe for later on, because Patrick can't rewrite the weather. But if Patrick can set up his Xerneas and keep because Tailwind can't come up again because that Whimsicott is gone, Patrick could actually still be in a position to be able to win as long as he can take care of that Salazzle, and as long as he can do enough damage to that Kyogre and outspeed it for later on. And that requires setting up the Xerneas, but to set up the Xerneas, you need to take out the Salazzle. To take out the Salazzle, your Groudon has to hit those Precipice Blades. So, you know, Xerneas is going to be hiding behind that Protect because, again, Sludge Bomb is going to knock it out so fast. And Flamethrower here from that Salazzle actually going to be boosted by the Sun as well. It's going to do a lot of damage to Groudon. Yikes, that is a lot of damage. And Water Spout, this is actually, I think, going to be just game over here because full health Water Spout, even in the Sun, is going to be able to pick up the knockout on Groudon. And Xerneas' setup is behind a Protect and Salazzle, despite Tailwind petering out here. It's still going to have to take a single target Water Spout at full health. It's going to have to take a Sludge Bomb, and it's going to have to take care of whatever the last Pokemon is on Vishy's side. So just going to expect to see, you know, there it is, the Sludge Bomb, no Protect by Xerneas. So there we are. So round 2 goes to Vishy, and I mean, that was kind of a fun game to watch. That Poison definitely hurt Patrick in the long run. That was such a good choice to be able to switch that in, but Life Orb and same time attack bonus to Salazzle is just scary. So see you guys in round 3. Terry and Taryn, who I'm thankful we did not put on stream because I was definitely going to mess up their names at some point, are still playing. So we'll see you guys in a little bit. And there's Gavin in the back. I think he's playing Ben. No, he's playing Anthony. I lied. Ben's right there. But yeah, see you guys in round 3.